Hey guys, okay, on to basic punctuation. So, punctuation is kind of a more broad topic. There's a lot that goes into it, but we're just going to be talking about the basics, primarily commas and semicolons, because that's what really seems to get you guys. Like I said, there's a ton more. We can talk about hyphens. I'm going to be honest, hyphens even get me. They're confusing on when to use. Okay, we're going to do same thing as yesterday. Make sure you answered your discussion question. We're going to do a short practice on no reading, and then you're going to take the punctuation quiz. Okay, so by the way, for those quiz backgrounds, I just put random stuff in there. Some of them are funny, I think. Some of them are pretty. I'm like, oh, that's pretty. I couldn't find a good punctuation background for that, so that's what those are about. I found this really cool thing that teachers can buy on Amazon for their classrooms. We're not going to buy it. It's adorable. Obviously, it looks like it's for about a third grade classroom. But again, we are starting with the basics of grammar. So, parentheses, they are used to enclose information that clarifies or is used as an aside. So, after you say something, if you're like, by the way, but without saying by the way, right? Periods always go on the outside of parentheses unless you put an entire sentence in the parentheses. Normally you don't do that. Usually if it's just an aside, you're just like making a side comment about what you said. So period will always go on the outside of the parenthesis, like I said, unless it's a complete sentence in there. So these examples, he gave me a nice bonus, $500. Okay, put that period, at the end of the parentheses, okay, not inside. Please read the analysis. You'll be amazed, okay? Kind of like side note, you'll be amazed, but that is a complete sentence, so we had to put a period inside of there as well. Quotation marks, to mark with direct quotes with titles of certain works and to write words as words, okay? I know that last part sounds confusing. We'll get to it. John said, I really hate when it's hot outside. Okay, that's one sentence. We have a comma, quotation mark, capital. If nobody taught you that about quotation marks, it always goes comma, quotation mark, capital. We learned that yesterday, okay? You always have to have a capital letter as the first one. No matter what this letter is, it always needs to be capital, okay? And you always have to have a comma. John yelled, John said, John exclaimed, John claimed. Always has to have a comma, okay? And then you're going to put, goes along with quotation marks, but also periods, but you're going to put the period inside of the quotation mark, okay? I see a lot of people putting them outside. It goes inside. The Dementor's Kiss is my favorite chapter in the whole series, okay? That's a short title. We already learned yesterday, long works are italicized, right? Short works go in quotation marks. Now, another one, oftentimes authors will do this when they're using sarcasm, but if you're putting quotes around something, it's used as a form of sarcasm to say, this is what they said, but it's not exactly what they meant. So if you were to be talking to my mother and she said, yeah, Heather says she's going to the gym today. We all know that probably means I'm going to get ice cream instead of going to the gym, okay? I don't usually go to the gym. So you can use it for sarcasm as well, but that's kind of an informal use of quotation marks. It's more like this. Okay, exclamation point used at the end of a sentence to show extreme emotion or excitement. So it's not always just happy, okay? It could be bad too. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I won. Now that was happy in that case. That's the biggest bird I've ever seen, okay? That's shock. Apostrophes. Used when writing possessive nouns and contractions. People get the possessive confused so often, okay? I see so many of you that will say, let's say, Merry Christmas from the Holes. Just a second. Sorry, hang on. Okay, sorry about that. We were interrupted. That always seems to happen when I record up here. Okay. Apostrophes, used when writing possessive. So if I were to say Merry Christmas from the Holes, that's what I was talking about, that's not showing possession. It's not saying that the Holes own anything. So there is no apostrophe before the S, which for some reason everyone will do that, okay? So if you're saying love the Smiths, there is no reason to put an apostrophe after the H, even if your parents do it, correct them, okay? nicely, politely, respectfully, but that's not correct, okay? You use it in the possessive if you actually own something. So if I looked over there and I said, that is Dave's desk. That desk belongs to Dave, okay? It is his possession. He possesses it. He owns it. Not technically, the school would, but that is Dave's. It belongs to him, so you'd have to have apostrophe S on Dave's, okay? It is Kate's workbook. And then, of course, we all know for contractions, if you take out a letter, you have to replace it with an apostrophe. Y'all has an apostrophe, even though we took out 2 letters. But you've done a great job. We took out 2 letters there too. H and A are gone. Got to put an apostrophe showing that something is missing. You've done a great job. Okay. Semicolon. I love these. I hated them when I was in high school. I was scared of them because I didn't know how to use them. And then when I did, now I love using semicolons. Okay. Used between 2 independent clauses if a conjunction is not used. Again, these words may scare you. Let me break it down for you, because I know it's like 2nd grade when you learn these things, and then sometimes you don't hear them again for many years and you forget. 2 independent clauses just means 2 sentences, okay? 2 complete sentences, has a subject and a verb in it. 2 independent clauses, it can stand on its own and make sense. So if I just said that, does that make sense? No, that is not a complete sentence. It's a dependent clause. It's going to depend on whatever I finish the sentence with in order to make sense. It's depending on something else to be complete. But if I were to say, it's pretty outside today, do I need anything else? No, it makes sense on its own, okay? So that is an independent clause. So if you put 2 of them together, 2 sentences, it's pretty outside today. The weather is nice. If you wanted to combine those, you could do 2 things. You could do comma, conjunction, comma, and it is pretty outside, and the weather is nice, which I know pretty much those are kind of the same thing, but pretty isn't always about the weather. Or you could just put a semicolon in there. You could take out the and you could say, it's pretty outside today. The weather is nice. No capital letter on the the. It's all the same sentence. You're just throwing a semicolon in the middle, okay? It's like a super period. So it can only be used between 2 complete sentences, all right? Now we have a comma. I meant to say a super comma. I'm sorry. Okay, a comma used to separate items in a list. That's a main way. We're all pretty good about that one. If you're listing 2 or more things, I have to buy bananas, milk, and bread. Bananas, comma, milk, comma, and bread. Okay? To separate 2 clauses in a sentence, okay? This is kind of where you have a pause. It could be 2 independent clauses, and you could add one of your conjunctions there, right? You could add comma and, or you could start with a dependent clause. If I were to say, I love food, you would put a comma after if I were to say. We already established that is a dependent clause, a sentence fragment on its own. It does not make sense unless it's followed by an independent clause that makes sense, okay? But that is where you would use a comma, okay? To set off transition words or the name of a person being addressed directly. So if I said, Kate, your hair looks so pretty today. You hear how I paused after Kate? There would be a comma if you were writing after Kate. And then, let's see, what else did it say? Transition words. If I started this sentence and said, well, I'm not sure about that. There's a comma after well. It's a transition word, okay? Or after we went to the movies, okay? First we ate dinner. After we went to the movies. After, comma, we went to the movies. And first, comma, we ate dinner. To separate the day of the month from the year, we all know that one. Set off parts of a sentence that can be taken out without changing the meaning. Okay, Kate, oh, here we are with Kate again. Kate, who loves reading, is going to another city. Okay, we could take who loves reading out. It's kind of an aside, right? Kind of how we put in parentheses, except this is grammatically correct to leave in a sentence. Okay, a colon, again, not scary. Used before certain lists. I want the following items: butter, sugar, and flour. Used when writing the time, 5:15. To capitalize the first word of a complete or full sentence quotation. The host made an announcement. You are all staying for dinner. Yikes. Question mark. Used at the end of a sentence to ask a question or express doubt. We all know that. Hyphen. Join certain words that are put together to form a single idea. He has 29 bags. She is a well-known doctor. He is the vice president, also used to describe job titles. Okay, cute little bunnies. Period. Last one. Used at the end of a sentence, makes a direct statement, gives a command, asks an indirect question. Also used at the end of abbreviations. I like chips and salad. Weird. I do too, though. Mr. Schultz lives on Starling Road. We all know about periods, hopefully. Okay, sorry this video was so long, but we had to go over all of those. Now, this is your lesson on Schoology. We're using commas with conjunctive adverbs, or thamos is the no red ink kind of abbreviation for this. Rule, when a thamo falls between, and notice, by the way, they don't have an apostrophe on thamos because that's not correct. Okay, when a thamo falls in between two complete sentences, it should start after a period or semicolon and be followed by a comma. Explanation, words like thus, however, and other conjunctive adverbs, again, thamos, can't combine two sentences into one with commas. Instead, they serve as transition words between independent clauses that have a period and a semicolon in between them. Thamos that follow a period and a semicolon almost always require a comma right after them. That all sounds kind of confusing. It's not, I promise. Dave likes bananas. That's a sentence. We need a period after it, okay? Independent clause, another name for it, complete thought, or a sentence. They all mean the same thing. Dave likes bananas, period. However, he wasn't in the mood for one today. This is a thamos, okay? Here are common ones. This is how you make a complex sentence. Accordingly, again, also, as a result, besides, consequently, for example, finally, furthermore, hence, however, in addition, incidentally, indeed, in fact, you can read the rest, okay? However, comma, he wasn't in the mood for one today. Now, make sure if you have a complete thought here first, you put a period, okay? So let's practice a few of them together. Let's go to the practice. Okay. Writers use certain words and phrases known as conjunctive adverbs to show the relationship between complete thoughts. This is what you really need to do, okay? And it'll make you, I think. We should put ice cream in the fridge. Otherwise, it will melt. Okay, we're going to skip the tutorial. We're going to go right on. After this tutorial, you'll know how to use our system to answer questions. Remember, you only use a semicolon if you have two complete thoughts. If I just said after this tutorial, is that a complete sentence or a complete thought? No. Okay, so we have to change that to a comma. After this tutorial, you'll know how to use our system to answer questions. Okay, Sam told the genie, remember, comma, quotation mark, capital. Sam told the genie, cheese pizza is my favorite. Punctuation can be removed. Did that sound right? No, get rid of that. Okay, punctuation can be removed. Did not need one there. Some sentences, like this one, are already correct. Remember, this doesn't have to be there, so we had to throw in the comma anyway. Okay, you're ready. All right, good luck, guys. Let me know if you need help. Be sure to take the 3-question quiz at the end.